it's time we hear from Cheryl herself, don't you? What is going on, my most gregarious of gossips? I sure do love you. Mwah. Boop. Welcome to Farm Patio. This is Cheryl Chronicles. It's time for chapter 7. Some of you might be of an age where you have no idea what a letter to the editor is. But long story short, you know how right now you can comment on somebody's TikTok or Insta post or whatever to get your feelings across? Back then, old people didn't have that. You could write, though, a letter to the editor of your local newspaper. And writing letters to the editor has been around for as long as there have been newspapers. It was a very easy and helpful way for folks to give their opinion on political matters, to raise truth to power, and let other people know that they're not alone. Like, hey, you might be feeling the same things about this as I am. So Cheryl wrote a lot letters to the editor, and this is the earliest one that I could find. I have no idea if there are more. So when Cheryl was 18, she moved to Rochester, and she lived there alone, went to school, and worked. This particular letter to the editor was written in 1976, so she would have been like 29 or 30, and it is entitled, "But Children Are Scapegoats." And I'm going to read this whole thing aloud, but I want to make sure it's clear. These are Cheryl's viewpoints. They are not mine. I'm just reading them out loud, although I will insert my own commentary, little here and there. Okay, here we go. But Children Are Scapegoats by Cheryl. As the unwed mother of an illegitimate child and as a feminist, I am becoming more alarmed each day at the propaganda being fed us by experts and social planners. It seems, if we are to believe the messages coming to us from the media, that all of our problems, pollution, poverty, drug addiction, discrimination, can be traced directly to unwanted and unplanned children. I am sick of hearing this, and I say we must begin to face our problems honestly and stop using our children as scapegoats for our own greed and selfishness. As far as I can see, all of this foolishness has its roots in the misanthropic disease of population hysteria, a disease fervently nurtured by the proponents of the zero population growth. I'm going to jump in with a little context. We got to remember this is 1976, and there were lots of things going on that were at the top of Cheryl's mind, two of which are kind of converging in this article. One, she was absolutely against the right to choose. She was absolutely against the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade. At the same time, a movement that was really popular in the 60s and 70s was called zero population growth. And it was this movement that talked about reducing how much we were populating the earth as a means to use our resources more wisely, to combat climate change, to help reduce poverty, things like that. And so when she's talking about this population hysteria, it was really directed at this group called Zero Population Growth that had a lot of influence in the 70s. Now, it's controversial in a way. I honestly have no idea how much it's part of our regular conversation anymore, but she was really disturbed at this idea of curbing population growth to solve other problems. And so she kind of put abortion and zero population growth in the same jar. We face real problems that will not go away so easily. We cannot eliminate poverty by eliminating poor children. We cannot end the oppression of women by aborting our unborn. Okay, Cheryl, it may not eliminate it, but it certainly helps a whole ton that women could now have access to safe medical abortions. I mean, yeah, there's still the shitty patriarchy, but Jesus Christ, we could be something more than just a reproduction factory. I'm gonna take it. We cannot save the environment by blaming children. We need to attack these problems directly. It is true that one of the symptoms of poverty is often too many children, but to advocate strict population control to relieve poverty is analogous to waging an all-out war on breast cancer by removing all breasts. No breasts, no cancer. I, for one, do not want abortion or sterilization. These things will not help me, will not help me. She doesn't say women. She says it will not help me. So she is saying that's the choice I want to make for me. Doesn't mean you get to make that choice for everybody else. In the least, what I do want is an end to job and wage discrimination, job training, adequate daycare facilities, And an end to the stigma of illegitimacy. I want welfare reform designed to encourage families to stay together rather than splitting apart. I want some changes in schools. I want more stress in sex education on developing honest communication between the sexes in order to end dishonesty and manipulation. See, now this part, she kind of shines in it. Like, yes, she gets so close to the point. She's against job discrimination. She's against unfair wages, more daycare. Like, those are great feminist ideologies. Way to go, Cheryl, right? She's so close to getting there. She's so close to getting the point. But then I want basic motivational research done on just why women get pregnant who shouldn't. Oh, Cheryl! God dang it. She was right. She was on the right path. And then she fell off the edge of Rainbow Road. Ah, Cheryl, women who should get pregnant, who shouldn't. Again, words matter. Who shouldn't? That is a judgment. That is her, in her mind, thinking some women are worthy to procreate and some are not. And she just thinks getting pregnant is just an easy thing. We all just get to control or not control. So why are those crazy ladies who shouldn't be having children having children? Whole family planning thing is not just a concern for women alone, in spite of what the Supreme Court recently said about the subject. I believe that parental instinct is felt as strongly by men as by women. The decision on whether to abort or not must be shared. After all, the child is in question is part of him as well. Internalized misogyny is rampant with this one, as it was for many women and still is. Minor girls no longer need parental permission to have an abortion. Yet, in spite of all these abortions, child beating is way up, crime is way up, problems. When do we begin to deal with the problems? I wanted to see if some of the claims she was making about child abuse being on the rise and crime being on the rise were actually true. So to the Google I go, and she's not wrong, but she is not wrong, but it's taken out of context. So yes, child abuse had an increase in the 70s, a marked increase in the 70s. But there is a reason, and it's not as dark as Cheryl would want you to have believed. It's because CAPTA was passed. The Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act was passed. And so there were now increased notification requirements, right? There was an increase in awareness of the dangers of child abuse. There was reduced stigma when talking about child abuse. So studies showed that reporting instances of child abuse definitely increased because we made tools available for it to be done. But that doesn't mean there was an actual increase. It means child abuse was just happening and we're just hearing about it more. And it certainly isn't related to the presence of medically safe abortion care. Like, it's not. And the whole point of Roe v. Wade being overturned is on the basis of privacy of medical information between you and your doctor. It was a way to be able to get women safe and effective health care in a way that they couldn't before. But the whole point of it is not to end child abuse. That has to take other forms. It's not related like she's trying to make you think it's related. And in terms of crime going up, yeah, it sounds like there was a whole shit ton of an increase in crime, but it had a whole lot of different reasons. Again, crime wasn't going up because abortions were now medically safe. Crime was going up for a whole host of other economic reasons. But what she doesn't do is talk about the marked and drastic decline in women's suicide rates because medically safe abortion was available. She doesn't talk about the marked decrease in maternal births because of the existence of now medically safe abortion care. So someone might read this article, someone might read this letter to the editor, and they might say, whoa, that sounds like me. I agree, Cheryl, I'm on board, pro-life all the way. But just like we did then, today we have to do the same type of deep critical thinking. We can't just take what old crazy Cheryl said to heart and say, well, I guess that's true. Let's just move on about our lives. We have to pull these arguments apart and really understand what the context was at the time something was written and what the larger effects to society might be. She was so close. I am with her on daycare and wage discrimination and job training. I'm with her on all of it. I am with her on better sexual education in schools. You absolutely bet. But we like butt heads on this idea that like she would rather women stayed Parasite hosts, right? And I would rather women get to do whatever the fuck they want. That's going to be another ding. I'm just telling you, kids, we got a whole lot of these things to go. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. I am fascinated. Honestly, I'm fascinated, and I like the look back in history over the issue. Okay, that's all I got for today. I love you so much. I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye.